Recently, I was asked in the comments of one of my videos to do another video all about what it takes to move from another country here to Canada. And well, I was born about 10 minutes from where I am right now. So that means that I don't know the first thing about immigrating from somewhere else here to my hometown of Surrey, BC. But when the people ask, I do my absolute best to deliver. And all I ask in return is that you go ahead and deliver a click to the like button on this video. Because I have found someone who does know all about moving here to Canada, because they indeed were not born at Surrey Memorial Hospital like I was. And that person with real life experience is no other than Amrit Walia, a real estate agent with the Storey Team in downtown Toronto. That's right, he's not even originally from Toronto or anywhere in the country. So Amrit has firsthand knowledge of what it takes to move from somewhere else here to Canada, and he's going to share that with us here in this video. And in return for this insight into immigration, all I ask is that you leave Amrit a comment down below or say, "Hey Amrit, thanks for the info." Because, well, he would really appreciate that, I'm sure, for taking the time to share his story, and I would appreciate it too. And lastly, before we get into his story, please remember to subscribe if you would like to stay up to date on my market here in Surrey and the Fraser Valley. And now on to Amrit and making immigration to Canada a reality. All right, Amrit, thanks for doing this, man. I appreciate having you here.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
Absolutely. So just so you kind of have a little bit of background, I have people reaching out to me saying, "Hey, I'm coming to Canada. How do I
Okay.
do that? I want to come to Canada. I'm looking at your real estate channel. I want to see how I can move there and become Canadian and buy real estate and all that stuff." And I told those
Okay.
people, I don't have any idea, man, because I was born like a couple minutes from here. But I said, I
Okay.
know someone who does, and that's
Yeah.
Amrit on the Storey
Yeah.
Team in Toronto. So I got a few questions for you here,
Okay.
and we'll just kind of go through that. So let's just, you are from India.
I'm from India. I'm from north part of India,
Okay.
a place called Punjab. And you're in Surrey, right? So there are a lot of Punjabis there.
We
Yeah.
have a huge Punjabi population here. And
Yeah.
that's
I know.
actually, I've got so many people that are reaching out that are not only Punjabi but also from parts of India that, I mean, I don't know anywhere in India, right? So they're coming from like Bangalore and a bunch of these places that are further south than the Punjab, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. So that's south. North and south is completely different, but still we are together. So it's pretty diverse out there.
yeah.
It's pretty cool, yeah, to know that like so much diversity and still the country is united. So that's good to know. And yeah, so to come to Canada, the main pathway is to use Express Entry. Express Entry is a federal government program, and it's basically point-based system. Depending on your experience, your language ability, you got to know English, of course, or French language. These are two official languages here.
Yeah.
And depending on your age and your work experience and education. So on these basis, Canadian government they estimate your points.
But
Okay,
let's go back a little bit. You born and raised in India
and
until what age?
until 25, yeah.
Okay. So at like 24, 25, you're sitting on the couch going like, I want to go somewhere.
Yeah, I want to go to Canada. That's
Why?
like,
Okay. So was it like, I'm going to Canada, or was it like, I just want to get out of here?
yeah, both I would say. Canada because I had some family here, so that helps for sure. All right. I was thinking of Australia as well because of the weather. We don't have the best weather here.
Yeah.
No offense to all of us,
Hey,
but
you're in the wrong part. You're in Toronto. Come to BC and we're good there.
that's Vancouver is Vancouver, so I don't enjoy rain. Right. So at least we get some sun here in the
Yeah.
east. So
All
let's
right.
call
This
it.
is not a fight about
Oh,
Canadian
okay.
weather.
Let's
Okay.
go back to this. Let's don't go on a different tangent. Yeah. So so what are your question again? Sorry.
So, like, what made you decide Canada?
Yeah, I had family here. That's one of the main reason. My sister's in Toronto as well. That helps me to make a decision towards Canada. And
Okay.
I think Canada is one of the most easiest to migrate, and people are more accepting here if you're an immigrant. So these were the three reasons which made me choose Canada. And it's if you go to states, it takes like a decade to get a PR to
Okay.
get permanent residency. Still, also there's no certainty if you'll get it or not. All right. So here you have some concrete plan, and if you follow that plan, of course you're going to get the Canadian PR and then Canadian citizenships. So these were the factors which made me think, oh yes, Canada is easy and That's a great country to be in. Let's be honest.
So it's ease of getting into the country is one.
Yeah,
I'm sure opportunity must play into it a little bit. There may be more opportunities in developing world countries rather than old world countries, but also you think that maybe we're a little bit more accepting here, or the perception at least is that we're more accepting here maybe than some other countries that you would have picked.
that's right. That's right. And opportunities too. There are tons of opportunities. If you put your head down and get to work,
Yeah.
oh, you can be somebody in here for sure and make a decent living, have a good life, and you can do what you like, right? You can take risks, that kind of risk, just focusing on 9 to 5. You can get out of your 9 to 5 and try something new, and make it a good fortune,
Awesome.
I would say.
So you're sitting there in India back home, and you're like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make this move. What's your first step? Like, do you call the Canadian government? Do you call a lawyer? Do you call somebody in India? What's your first step?
First step is to go online and check it out what's going on. All right. So there's a website called CIC. It's called Canadian Immigration. Sorry, I'm forgetting that whole abbreviation. Canadian Immigration Canada, something
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
It's called CIC. Just Google it, and you have got all the rules and regulations and all the protocols that how to immigrate to Canada. I personally believe you don't have to hire a lawyer or any immigration agent. They're going to charge you a bomb, and sometimes most of them are not so professional. So if you do your due diligence online in detail, you'll get all the answers there. And on the CIC website, there's a called points calculator. As I mentioned a few moments ago, there's a point it's all point based system. So you have to just answer the questions the way you're asking me questions. They're going to ask you some questions like, what's your age? What's your IELTS score? IELTS score is the English test you have to give. It's all across, it's universal.
Yeah.
And so what's your IELTS score? What's your work experience? What's your education experience? Based upon these factors, they're going to give you a score. And the Canadian government or the immigration department has a cutoff. It usually hovers around like 500 out of 900
Okay.
or 1,000. I forgot. Please excuse me on that. It's been a while I checked this website.
Yeah.
So there's a cutoff. So if your points are beyond 500 or whatever the cutoff is, then you're good to go. That's it. I
Yeah.
mean, it sounds so. I'm making it sound so easy. It's not so easy. It's a long process, but it's worth it. Yeah.
But good to go means what? You just file your paperwork online?
Yes. Then you have to get all the paperwork. It's going to take like at least, it took me like 2 to 3 months to get all my documents in place. More than that, slightly, three and a half months, to be honest,
Okay.
because I have to book my IELTS test. That's take a time. And once you give IELTS test, then you have to get your education certification done, which states that your education back home is equivalent to Canadian standards. Okay, that takes a while. And you have to get your work experience, all the documents all together, because I don't keep all my documents in place. Now I have, thanks
Yeah.
to immigration process. So you have to get all the documents in place. So documentation takes a lot of time. So it took me around like 3 to 4 months, I would say, 3.5 months, and get them all in order. And then you have to submit, then you have to create a profile on the CIC website, and you have to upload each and every documents. Here, lawyers' role come into play. If you hire a lawyer, you're good to go. But if you don't, then please make sure you do you check all the documents, check mark all the documents, and carefully upload it. Because if you upload any wrong document, you're done. Then they won't check. They might even they might reject you, because there's so many applicants out there,
Mm-hmm.
so they don't have time to come back and do a correction or amendment.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion. I think so. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think they don't have.
So they're not gonna be very forgiving on not having
Right.
all of the right stuff in the first place.
I'm one of those person who made a mistake.
You're here though. You're here. You're good.
But I got lucky. I think I prayed a lot. That's how I survived.
Yeah.
So I was in Canada actually. So mine was a very complicated case. I didn't come straight away as an immigrant here. I came as a student. And the day one I land here, I go to school. I attend a class. I was like, no, I'm not going to study. I never used to study that much, but when I was in that class, I was like, no, I'm not studying here, because whatever I had studied back home, I was repeating there again. I was like, I'm wasting my time and money. I was like, there has to be a way. Then I, I get on online, did my thorough research, kept on going, go to libraries, look for some, any immigration document or something like that here and there. And I used to drive a Uber here in Canada for initially when I came here. So I was driving Uber, and one of the passenger, he's like, if you have any concerns or questions regarding immigration, he was a member of some government officer. He
Okay.
said, if you have any problem, contact your local MP. I was like, okay. So I went to a local MP office there in Markham, and I was like, I carried my resume there, and like I'm super qualified. I work with all these big firms and blah blah. And she goes, okay. Then she suggested me that there's a program called on OINP. So it's a provincial nominee program. So one is Express Entry, that is federal government program, and one is what do you call provincial nominee program. So these two work together. Okay. So if you do not qualify for Express Entry, the provincial, they have very limited slots, but they're a little easy. I mean, the cutoff is, if supposedly cutoff for federal is going for is hovering around 450 or 500 points. These are around like 390 to 400 points. So she like, just create a profile online. There might be a chance you might get through. And I just randomly created a profile, gave all my tests and everything, and I was super lucky, and I got out there, and I got the invitation to apply.
Oh, okay.
Because my points were not too high. They were like in early 400s.
Okay.
I got through.
So you got accepted through a provincial program rather than the federal
Yes,
program.
yes,
Okay.
exactly.
But you think most people are going to get accepted through the federal program?
Yes, because the slots are I don't know the invitation. I don't know the exact term what they use, but the slots or whatever the ticket, provincial tickets are very less. Yeah.
So did you have to know somebody that was already here under either PR or citizenship? Like, did you have to have like a sponsor?
Yes. So in the federal government, a sponsor used to be like a way back, like 7, 8 years ago, that you could sponsor your immediate family, but that doesn't help anymore. So now, only thing that helps if you have a sibling or immediate family member, it helps you to give you some points in the federal or the provincial program. It does help. It gives you like 15, 20 points. Forgive me if I'm not saying the exact number. I don't know how many points. I
Yeah,
don't remember.
yeah.
It does help, yes.
But so it helps you get through because, you may have some sort of other support rather than just showing up with a few bucks in your pocket and
Oh yeah,
not knowing
100%.
anybody.
100%. Yeah, yeah. I had my sister here and my brother-in-law. They helped me a lot. Yeah, that really gave me a good question there.
Okay, so just to be clear, your path was like you apply, but you came over on a student,
Yeah,
I guess a student visa kind of thing.
yeah.
And then
And
once you were here, you applied to say, okay, I really like it here. I'm going to go try and get my PR.
yes, and as a student, it's a hard life as a student. It's not like you just going to school, coming back and chilling with friends as an international student. It's hard. You have to go to school. After that, you have to go and work for a shift so that you can earn some extra bucks and pay for your fees, because international fees is 5x of the resident fee.
Hmm.
That is also there. So it's international student life is hard. So it's not that easy. So to get away from student life, I was like, PR is the way, because as a student, you can only work 20 hours a week. You cannot work more than 20 hours a week. All right. So PR, but as a PR, that gates opens up. You can work as much as you want, whatever you like. You're not restricted.
Are any of the points you have to get financial points?
You mean
Like, is there? I
uh,
know when I've seen some people that have immigrated from other countries, South Africa. I have family that was looking at it from Europe, and there's a financial commitment that those people, I don't know, this could have been 15, 20 years ago, I have no idea, but there was a financial commitment of like showing how much you have either to invest in the country or how much you have in your bank account or whatever it is. So was there any financial commitment for you?
For sure, this was back in 2018 for me. So yes, I had to show like around 10 to 15K thousand dollars, ten to $15,000 in my bank account,
Yeah.
Canadian dollars in my bank account. And speaking of financial, so there's one more way to immigrate to Canada or other countries as well. I think you buy a citizenship, or it's called investment visa or entrepreneurship visa, right? So
Otherwise known as a bribe, right?
yeah, you can say that. I don't know. I won't comment much on that. So you pay like I don't. It's like tons of thousands of dollars, maybe like 200K or 300K. I don't know. Again, I repeat, I do not know the exact number because I did not have that ton of money that time.
Yeah.
So I didn't even look in that area.
So from, let's say, applying in India for your student visa to come over, how long from applying to approval for that portion, not the PR portion, but just that first portion?
It takes for about 4 months.
4 months.
Time.
Okay. And then once you're here, because you didn't try, this is where I don't understand. I don't get, like, I've got people that are reaching out due to the videos like this that are already applying for their PR and they've never been to Canada. Right. So what I don't understand is, like, if I apply today, how long does it then take me to get that PR?
So if you apply today, it that time was taking. So if you go through provincial round, it's going to take a long time. It took me, my turnaround period was around like 11 months. Let's say 1 year for me. Okay. Yeah. Other than that, if you go only through federal program, that is express entry. That's why it's called express. So it was taking around 6 to 7 months of time that time. But now I've heard there's a huge backlog. I heard there are around 100,000 backlog applicants out there. So
yeah. And they're trying to add what? They're increasing the goal from, I think under the Conservatives, we were at like 250,000 people a year. Now we're at like 4 and a quarter, right? Like,
yeah, a quarter a year. Yeah. Until 2024.
I have a lot of people, probably at least 15 to 20 over the last year, that have reached out that have applied and are just waiting, right? Because they're waiting now to, and this maybe gets into a bit more about what we talk about normally on the YouTube channel, is like they're waiting because they're renting and they're paying a lot of rent. And here in BC, just like you in Toronto, we've got such a high tax to purchase. They're like, we're going to keep renting until we can purchase. They want to purchase like the day after the PR comes in.
Yeah. Because you know what initially the immigrants used to come, they used to come with maybe like single dime or maybe like very less money. But now what I'm noticing is I have a lot of my clients in Toronto as well. They are selling their real estate there or their assets there and coming in with money, and that's what the government is also noticing. Of course, why would they notice it? They're noticing that immigration is going to propel the economy more.
Yeah.
Because money is coming to the country.
So are the people coming in, and this is only opinion or people or whatever, but do you feel like there are more people that are now of greater wealth coming, and it's not just the like kind of working class that feels like they can't make a better life there? Do you think that the people that are already well off in those countries like India are maybe coming here and on top of that, if it is that way, why? What's better here for the people that have money as opposed to the people that don't?
It's the overall life quality, I would say that.
Yeah.
That's different, yeah. And political stability, I think that also. I know you're going to laugh on this, but trust me.
I think we're a really political, or a very stable political system, whether or not our political parties or our news wants us to think so. We are. And it gives us the right, it gives us the right to, as Canadians, to do our favorite national pastime, which is complaining.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
Or we don't know, or we might not know what's happening behind the curtain. We don't know that, right? So, but it's, if you compare it with the rest of the world, it is stable. Let's be honest. Yeah. We complain. I know. Now I'm becoming one of those two who started complaining. But I realized that when I look at some other countries or back wherever. So yeah, it is very stable as compared to the rest of the world, 100%.
Yeah.
And we do not take that for granted, I think. Yeah.
Awesome. So now you get, let's say you took your 6 months to get here, or maybe 4 or 5 months to get here. You land, you do your student, you realize that's not working out well, mostly because of the fees. Then you take another year, let's call it, to get your PR.
Yeah.
So you filed for your PR. How do you get notified that you are accepted? Is it like an email, a letter in the mail?
Just email.
Yeah.
It's on your phone, email. I was like, oh my gosh, I got the PR. you know.
So you're like
That's
walking down the street, like checking your
exactly.
Instagram, and
Yeah.
then you're like, oh,
I
I'm
was
like Canadian now.
Yeah, I was jumping when I saw, oh my God, I got the PR. Like, I was literally jumping that time because switching from international student life to a PR is huge. It
Yeah.
is huge, really, honestly. So yeah, you get all the notifications through your all correspondence are done via email. And as I said, I had made a mistake while uploading my documents, right? So once I had done all my whole application process was done, everything was done. I was just waiting that patiently sitting tight that I might get a PR or something like that.
Yeah.
And one day while taking a shower, I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I did not upload one document. Oh my, and I was like freaked out. I just ran to my computer, opened up, and I had literally missed it. And then what? Guess what? Again, I knock on MP's door.
Oh, really?
No,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. I told her the whole situation that it's an honest mistake. I missed out on this document. It was confusing. I don't have any lawyers. I did everything by myself. And just to give credit to my sister, she was helping me with the whole process. So and I blame her too on this mistake too. So if I give credit, then blame too, right? Then and MP was pretty cooperative, and she raised the concern with Ottawa in the IRCC. I mean, the CIC's head office is in Ottawa, and the mistake was corrected. That's so yeah.
Awesome. And
Like
then
I
when you get your PR,
yeah
that's basically, I mean, obviously not full citizenship, but that's basically like, okay, cool. I can get a job now. I can buy property now. I can do all of these things that I couldn't do. And there's like, at that point, restrictions are pretty much removed
yeah
from you.
yeah the feeling of freedom, I would say.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
So what's the next step? First of all, have you got your citizenship yet?
No, I have to apply for. So once you get a PR,
Yeah.
okay, the day you get a PR and you land in the country, after that you're supposed to stay 3 years or whatever the 700 days in 3 consecutive years. Some 700 days. I forgot the number, exact number. So you're supposed to stay 3 years in a row. Okay. And once you complete those specific days, then you can apply, then you're eligible for citizenship. So I have done that. So I'm just right now collecting with my documentation. As I just mentioned, I'm not the best with documentation. I'm working on that front, and I'm going to apply for my citizenship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any idea? Are they telling you how long that takes?
It takes around 1 year time, 1 or 2 years approximately.
Okay.
One
So,
and a half years.
so the path from, let's call it, from applying to actual citizenship sounds like it's going to be better part of 5 years.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
more or less 5 years. Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Cool.
But if once you get the PR, then you're pretty much sure that you're going to get a citizenship. If you if you are a nice citizen
Yeah.
and an obedient, law-abiding citizen, you'll get citizenship.
Is there, I guess, a chance? Like, I guess,
Yes.
yeah, people could end up in whatever some sort of criminal situation.
Then you can be deported. Yes, you can.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I don't get. I mean, I just feel I'm lucky because I've been here, and maybe I'm not lucky because I just haven't explored the rest of the world, right? But like, I'm pretty happy being here. I'm literally, like I said at the beginning, like 10 minutes from the hospital I was born in, and have no plans to move anywhere else, not even Toronto, right? So it's interesting to kind of hear your story. Let me just check. We got the first step. We got how long it's going to take, because I think that's where most people are going to start. They want to know exactly where to start.
Yeah.
I think we've covered everything that I have here. How long it took, financial requirements. Financial requirements, I think, is one that people feel like they're going to be held back. Now, you didn't use a lawyer either there or here, any sort of consultant or anything. Do you have an idea of what that cost might be to somebody if they were starting today?
Maybe a couple of $1,000s. I don't know, to be honest. Maybe a couple of $1,000s.
But it's not like $25,000 or something like that.
It depends from case to case. If someone's situation, they have no experience, or very less experience, something like that. If someone was in some criminal activity while they were student, and now it's their time to get the time to, if their studies are done, it's time for them to apply for a PR, and that's a tricky situation for them. They cannot do it by themselves. It has to be through lawyers, right?
Yeah.
It depends from case to case, but on average, maybe I think I'm wrong. 2,000. I think it's going to be five at least, approximately 2,000 to 5,000. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. Well, what else? What else can you tell me? What have we missed, or what is something? Here's a great question. What was unexpected in the process where you don't think most people are maybe considering that this will happen or could happen to you?
I
Was there
think
anything totally like, oh, I wasn't expecting that?
uh, was the provincial nominee program. I had no idea about it, and I think most people do not have much idea about it. I don't hear that much about it. So, and it's not only it's in Ontario, it's in British Columbia, it's in I think Manitoba as well. It's in different provinces too. I'm not too sure about Quebec because Quebec has different immigration program. They run their own program apparently. So, but most of the provinces have their own nominee program, and just knocking on MP's door, that was a game changer for me.
Wow.
So I do not suggest everyone just to, barge into MP's office. Don't do that. Take an appointment. I took an appointment too, right? Go through a proper procedure. You don't mean to bug them, but it worked. And when there was a mistake, the MP helped me. I was amazed that this is going to work for me.
It is. I think that is something that, like we said when we're joking about, we're complaining all the time. That is something
Yeah,
probably that Canadians don't take advantage of enough. Is if you need help, those government officials
it,
are there to
it worked.
help, whether it
It
be
worked.
city, whether it be provincial, whether it be federal. You
Yeah.
can go be kind of that squeaky wheel, like, hey man, I need you right now, and they will help, right? So I think that's something that as I'm just sitting here in my house and never have to talk to a government official ever for anything, I feel like I'm disconnected from those people, but they are here to help, right?
To be honest, I was scared like before going to the MP's office. But then then I consoled myself. I was like, they work for the people, and you're one of those right now. You're under them because even though you are not a citizen right now, but you're a student. You have a study permit, so you're under them. So just go and give it a shot. So I would say just keep trying. Just knock all the doors if you can, and one or the other door will open.
Oh, that was the other question I had. So you ended up in Toronto because you had a sister that was already in Toronto,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So is there any requirement to like where you have to go? Like you obviously said you probably ended up even in Toronto because you went through the provincial program, but is there like, if you're just doing on the express thing, do they try and tell you like, hey, you have to go to Moose Jaw or like Medicine Hat or something?
No, so if you are on an express entry, that's a federal program. No, you're free to go anywhere in Canada. So that's why when we see, uh, we must have noticed most of the immigrants they land up in GTA or Vancouver area or Montreal as well. These
Yeah.
big cities, because they want to be in the bigger cities first. So that's the reason, and that's why the house prices are going up.
Yeah, I
Sure,
guess I wouldn't be
not the reason, not the reason, I would say
yeah,
one of the reasons.
if I'm of the same mindset, like if I'm immigrating to, I don't know, Australia, I'm thinking like Sydney, Perth, right? I'm not
Yeah,
thinking like, middle of
somewhere.
Australia, somewhere I've never heard of before.
No. And of course, you want to be closer to where your family is, right?
Yeah.
That's the first thing. And most of the immigrants' families are in the bigger cities. That's what I have noticed, at least so far.
All right. So what's next for you, my friend? Just outside of immigration, what's next for you? What's the plan? You're working with the number one YouTube influencer in the world, I hear, Tom Storey. You're a real estate agent now in
Yeah.
Ontario because it pays ever so slightly better than Uber. What's next for Amrit?
Yeah. So, no, right now, just I'm trying to come on YouTube right now. So I'm focusing on
Yeah.
that. That's
Awesome.
next. you know, take you and Tom down, maybe not down, maybe work together.
Well, for sure, Tom, I'll help you do that. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to put your information down below because if there is someone that wants to reach out to you
Yeah.
and they're thinking about trying to make connections in Toronto and trying to hopefully buy in Toronto, and you guys have this strange thing where you're allowed to lease properties as real estate agents, and we are not actually. So maybe they can reach out to you if they're trying to, whatever their housing needs are, and they're watching this because they're trying to get to the land of opportunity. And I think it is. I'm glad that you also think it is. Because there's so many people living here that don't see the opportunities that are sitting right in front of their face, and that frustrates me to no end.
There's tons of opportunities. There are tons of opportunities out here. Like people say American dream. I think there's a Canadian dream is way much better. I
Yeah.
would say that, especially for an immigrant, 100%. There's a tons of opportunities if you put your head down and get going. No, sky's the limit. for sure.
Awesome. Thanks for doing this, man. I appreciate your time. Like I said, if anybody wants the information, Amrit's contact is down below. He works with Royal LePage of the Storey Team in downtown Toronto. And yeah, thanks so much, man.
Thank you so much. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.